A couple of months ago, I posted this photo of me dressed as a paper doll, and I got a lot of messages and comments asking me how I made it and if I could post a tutorial on how to recreate it, particularly because people were interested in doing it as a Halloween costume. So if you're scrambling for an idea this year and you don't have a huge budget, I got you. This costume is super quick, it costs like $20 total, and it's pretty unique. What more can you ask for? This is not my original idea. The paper doll look has been done time and time again by Moschino, by Galliano, in all sorts of editorials, but I thought my method for it was pretty simple and easy to understand, so I thought a tutorial could be helpful. Also, I know it's been a really long time since the last time I posted a video. I wish I could say that's a fluke, but it's not. I can barely fit in Instagram posts with my course schedule and work right now. I'm gonna try and make videos when I can, and I really enjoy making them, and I wish I could make more longer form content, but my schedule right now just doesn't allow it. So if you're a subscriber, thank you. You're a real one. I really appreciate your support, even though I am terrible at uploading consistently. I've broken down the video into chapters so you can skip around and find things easily, but let's start by finding your inspo. So the first step I recommend is looking online for inspo. You can look at vintage paper dolls, modern ones. Having a reference image to look at, or at least have the basic form of, is going to be super helpful later on. Of course, you can totally go just straight from your imagination, but I like to work from reference, especially because I was going for the vintage paper doll look, which has like a kind of specific aesthetic. You're going to need inspiration for a headpiece, like hair or a hat, and then body. You can of course add shoes, gloves, a bag, anything like that. For my look, I just wanted it more simplified, and I couldn't really figure out how to make shoes work, so I just did hair and a dress. One thing I will note right now though is if you are doing a one piece like a dress, or if you're doing a suit all as one piece, you cannot bend over, sit down. Going upstairs can be hard. Bending your knees, like all that sort of thing, can be difficult. So I would recommend making a shorter dress so you have more mobility. Or you can split the piece into a top and a bottom so you have a better range of motion. But either way, once you have your reference, then you can get all your materials together. I recommend doing this after you have your reference because you want to know how much paper you're going to need. If you're using colored paper, what color to buy, what paint you need, etc. It's just easier to do it once you have a clear vision. Okay, so the materials you'll need for this project are pretty simple. I already had some of these things at home. I already had glue and paint and paintbrushes. For me, it cost $10 to get everything I needed, but if you had to start from scratch and buy everything, I think you could get everything for under $30, which makes it the perfect, easy Halloween costume. So you're gonna need some poster board. You can either buy poster board in the color that you want your garment to be, or you can just buy white and paint everything yourself. I'm using 3 sheets for this today. You're gonna need acrylic paint. You could also use gouache or Sharpie, colored pencil, anything that you want. I just think that acrylic paint gives it the most paper doll-esque look. I just have the primary colors in white and black. Then some paintbrushes of different sizes and a pencil. I have one really big paintbrush to do like the base colors and then some smaller ones to do details. You'll need glue. I have spray adhesive. The spray adhesive will be for attaching the poster board to a cardboard layer. And then I also have hot glue, which will be used to attach the fasteners to the cardboard. Speaking of fasteners, I just have some shoelaces and a belt that I got from the dollar store. The shoelaces I think are easier for tying headpieces around like a mask, and the belt is sturdier and, you know, built with fasteners in it for doing things around your waist for like bigger, more, you know, heavier pieces. Then I have just some recycling, some cardboard boxes that I'm going to be using to put behind the poster board so it's not flimsy, it's not like flapping around, it has some weight to it. And then I also just have like a 99-cent tablecloth I got from the dollar store, and I use it as a drop cloth whenever I need to paint something large. So yeah, that's everything you need. It's pretty simple. You can get all of this from the dollar store. Some of this you can get from like CVS, Duane Reade, etc. But it should be easily accessible in your area no matter where you live. As an addendum, I would recommend buying a very cheap pair of sunglasses just from the dollar store or something. I'll explain why later. So starting off kind of silly, the easiest way that I found to measure the size of your head for the headpiece is by putting a piece of paper over your face and then kind of tracing around where the edges of your head are. And then you can lay down on the ground and do a similar thing for your body. It helps if you have a friend who can just trace around you, but doing it by yourself works well too. So once you have your rough outline from laying down, you can go back with the pencil and refine it. From there, you just want to go in and draw the silhouette of whatever clothing you've picked. I picked a cowboy dress, and you just want to make sure that the outside line of the clothing is outside where your body is, so that your body won't show through when you're wearing the paper doll. That's kind of a confusing and convoluted way to explain it, but basically you just want to make sure it's big enough. If you're doing a long dress like me, you're just going to put the two pieces of cardstock next to each other, overlapping a little bit, and then just draw directly down so that you have registration marks to line them back up once you cut them. There will be a little bit of a line where the two pieces of paper meet, but I really don't think it's noticeable at all. If you're a little bit more creative than me, then you can try and hide that with details in the clothing or cut it in a way so that's not so noticeable, but for my purposes, I didn't really care that much about it. Then once you're satisfied with your drawing, you can cut it out. I recommend erring on the side of it being a little bit too big and then going to the mirror, trying it on, seeing how it is, seeing if it's symmetrical, if parts need to be trimmed, and then you can thin down from there. You can add paper back by just gluing a piece on the back if you accidentally cut away too much, but it's easier to go from big to small than the other way around. Then for your headpiece, you just want to take the circle that you drew before of your face, cut that out, and use it as a template for the cutout on your headpiece. The next part is the most time-consuming part, so I'm sorry for literally making you watch paint dry, but you're just gonna wanna go in and paint in all the details. I like to just start with a base layer of whatever color I need, and then go in and add shadows and highlights. For this one, I decided to use colored paper, so that saved me a lot of time. I didn't have to paint the base yellow for 90% of the costume. I just had to go in on the details and paint those in. For the first dress I did, I started with white paper and then I had to go in and hand paint every color. So that took a lot more time, but I had more control over what colors I wanted. So yeah, you're just gonna go in, paint all those details. You don't have to be really photorealistic with this. Paper dolls were usually hand painted, so they had that thick brush stroke, that painterly feel to them. I think that's what makes it really fun, is that you don't have to worry about making it really realistic because it's the little hand details that make it seem like a paper doll. When I'm painting hair, I like to start with the midtone, so I'll go in and paint the entire area with that color, and then I'll go in and add the shadows and highlights and really make it pop, and then just kind of refine after that. So once you have everything pretty much painted, you're gonna add the detail that really turns it into a paper doll, and that's the black outline. So you're gonna take your black acrylic paint and just go in and add a black outline around most of the major details and shapes. The most important part is that you want a black perimeter on the outside edge of both of your shapes. And then you're gonna make the tabs. I'm just cutting by eye a rectangle that I think is the right shape for this. You could make them big, small, however you feel like, but you just want to make one and then you can use that as a template to cut the rest. So once you have your tabs cut out, you're just going to do that same thing of adding a black outline to them. I think looking at reference images is really helpful for this part to get an idea of where the tabs would go on a paper doll. And then you can just take a glue stick and slap those on. So I'm in the middle of midterms and I was very busy, so my partner helped me with the next part and I'm very thankful. I just used recycled cardboard for this, so it wasn't really ideal. It's not in like one big sheet, but I just patchworked it together. I laid my paper doll on top of the cardboard, traced it with a pencil, and then cut it out with an Olfa knife. You do want to have a second layer under the cardstock because otherwise it'll be super flimsy. If there's even a slight breeze, it's just going to be flapping all over the place. And it being stiff also helps the illusion of it being a paper doll. So once you have the cardboard cut out, you can spray the back of your paper doll pieces and then put them on the cardboard using some pressure to make sure that they really bond together. If you have a larger piece and you had to patchwork the cardboard together on the back, then you may also need to add vertical cardboard pieces just to act as supports so that it's not bending one way. But then you can add the belt by hot gluing it just where the waist is. I like to use the belt that has grommets as the holes. I don't have to worry about lining it up in a specific place to where my waist is. There's holes all over the belt. It's pretty non-specific and I can just glue it down without worrying about it. This time around for the headpiece, I just used shoelaces and glued them in two spots like a mask that ties around the back of your head. But I forgot that the first time I made this, I had bought a pair of $1 sunglasses from the dollar store and just broken off the temples and glued them on, so when I put on the mask, it just went over my ears really easily. Definitely recommend doing it that way. If you do the ties, it works and it's totally fine, but it's not as secure and it doesn't fit your face as well. So I recommend the sunglass method, but really either one works. So for the day when you're gonna wear the costume, you wanna wear form-fitting clothes, a sleeveless top, shorts, anything where the clothes aren't gonna be sticking out and ruining the illusion of the costume. I'm also wearing a wig cap so that when I put the paper hair on, my hair is out of the way and it just looks like the doll. For my makeup, I am going to do kind of a 1950s pinup inspired look because that's the vibe of my paper doll that I went with. So just a red lip and a cat eye, and then we will be all ready to go. When you're putting this on, I recommend having a friend help you. It's a lot easier. Someone's holding it while you can tie it or put the belt on. It's a lot simpler. But now that all that hard work is done, we're ready to see the final product. So just to wrap up, I think a lot can be improved from my version and there's so much room for creativity. I would love to see what other people do with this concept. Like I said before, you could add accessories, you could split it into 2 pieces, you could even make 2 pieces so that there's a front and a back. That would be nice because then you're not so naked in the back, although I think that is kind of a funny reveal. I think making a pet version could be really cute. If you're really extra, you could make several different outfits and then let people choose your outfits and like kind of dress you throughout the night. There's so many ideas and like so many directions this could go in. That's I think what makes it like a really good Halloween costume is that yeah, there's like this base idea and I'm giving you the tools for how to make this, but really it's your own thing. So yeah, whether you're using this for a photo shoot or for Halloween, whatever, I hope this was helpful. I hope I explained it well. I know this was like really quick, but I was really trying to like cram this in before midterms and before Halloween, and my editing schedule was pretty tight on this one, so hopefully everything made sense. If it didn't, just leave a comment and I'll respond to it. I'll try and clear anything up. But otherwise, thank you for watching. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.